Welcome back to Your Own University TV. I am thrilled to be here, back again. Today we're going to talk about control. We're going to talk about control because there's so many icky, interesting things about control, and it's come up with a few of my clients this week, and I think that we are all connected. Therefore, this might just serve you.
Join us at Your Own University. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You're not going to want to miss a bit of this.
Control. Oh my gosh. Control, power, empowerment, choice, freedom, kind of go together. But there's also another element to control that I've learned through studying emotional intelligence and David Hawkins' work and Peter Parker's work that is really nasty and icky and like not freedom at all. And that is when something or somebody else puts their control on you and limits your freedom. Now, I want to talk about one way that so many of us were raised. And we were raised to be obedient. We were raised to do what we were told. We were raised like, I brought you into the world and I'm going to take you out of the world, right? And quite frankly, that doesn't teach us how to be adults in control of our own lives, of our own authority, having sovereignty in our own body. Now, if you had a good childhood, you learned how to be respectful and you learned how to follow orders and you did the best that you could. If you had a bad childhood, you learned that you were a piece of whatever it is that you were labeled and that you better do what you were told or else. And sometimes, in the worst case, you were looked at as property. And with this, I just want to tell a story because it came up last week and I've written about it in my book, From Bondage to Happiness, as well as in a book that is called God's Miracles, about an event in my life that literally made me the therapist I am today and had me look for alternative methods to heal from being a product of somebody's weird need to control somebody else. Now, in the lowest forms of control, it's really about property, right? It's about worshiping bodies, worshiping, not in a positive way, like a holy way, but like nasty way, right? Where we're put in a place where we are property of somebody else's. When I was 8, I was adopted, and the night I was adopted, I will never forget it. I'm not quite sure of the timeline, to be honest with you, but I know it was right around that time. And it was made very, very, very clear to me that I was no longer my own person, that I now was the property of the person that adopted me. And with that came obedience and training and eventually abuse. And then it turned into an event in my life that in one way saved me, but in another way really drilled into my life that my life was out of my control. So when things fall apart, it builds anxiety, or used to build anxiety and tension and frustration and fear inside of me. And it gave me the habit of trying to gain control, and the negative kind of control. Not the sovereignty kind of control, but the negative kind of control. So if you can relate to that little bit of not having been trained to make your own choices, to express yourself, to be respectful, but also to honor your own intuition, your own awareness, then you are not alone. And it's not your fault that you don't know what you know. And as an adult, you can learn what you don't know, and you can unlearn the habit of being under somebody else's control. It is like communism. In all honesty, it is like communism at its worst. And we're not alive to live that way. So I want to give you 3 ways to really look at control and begin to have a wonderful relationship with it in your own life, and begin to shift being property or needing somebody else's approval or affirmation for you to feel like you have the right to manifest, to lead, and to make your own decisions in your life. Are you ready? So the first thing that I've learned on my journey from bondage to happiness, my book is on Amazon, by the way, it's a little workbook, is to really understand that I have a part inside of me, a deep part inside of me, a training within me that somewhere inside of me still might bear its ugly head every once in a while and say, you don't know what's best for you. And in order to shift that reality, it's gonna take some effort on your part as an adult. It's going to take some effort, but not the forceful, angry control, and not the manipulation of your body, controlling what you eat, micromanaging everything, or controlling other people and projecting that onto your children and your family and or your workplace. But it's going to take an awareness that that is an abuse of power. And from that knowledge of abuse of power, you have compassion and awareness in order to choose to learn a new way. That's step one. It's a step of acceptance. Step two in control is to understand that there's two sides of control. There is controlling within, like, I'm going to control what I focus on. I'm going to control my mind to focus on what's positive, to look at what's good, to hold my boundaries, to know what I want, to take care of my own life. And then there's the control that feels forced. It can look like the victim under control, or it can look like the controller, right? Neither is a healthy place to be. So understand where you are on that spectrum. That's step two. Now, for those two things, you might need to hire a coach. You can call me, hire me. I work with private people as well as group programs for you, waiting for you, as well as just more knowledge at your own university. So to work with me privately, it's lishaantica.com. Send me a voicemail or just fill out the form and set up a call, and let's talk about this so you can become your own sovereign person and really gracefully learn how to control what you can in your life with grace and ease without subjecting it to the outside world or getting frustrated. The third thing that I really just want to put out there is that you are nobody's property and nobody is your property. Nobody, not your boss. They don't control your time, you do. You can choose to be there or you can choose not to be there. Not your mom or your dad, your fitness trainer, your boss. Did I already say that? Your school teacher. Nobody, right, has that right to tell you who you are and how you should be. It is your decision to be a good person, to be a respectful person, to be a loving person, to be a humane person. And if you have not seen how to do that in your life, surround yourself with people like at your own university, and surround yourself with people that are practicing the way that you want to be. So think of 3 people that emulate the kind of person that you want to be, that you wish you were raised by, that you wish that you knew, and become that person. I've watched myself, my mother, my family walk through this process of creating control over our own lives. And it begins in our mind. It begins with your habits. That is why I created 365 habits to send to our members at Your Own University each and every day. So we train ourselves how to be our best, focusing on that balance in our lives, creating harmony in our lives, and getting out of the control of the system and the government and the doctors and everybody that tells us who we are and how we should be. Quit shoulding all over yourself. Quit shoulding all over yourself. And begin to get to know who you are, so you can make powerful choices to control your own mind and your own habits to show up in the world the way that you're going to feel great. And as you do this, the people that are trying to control you or manipulate you in one way or the other are going to have less and less power in your life. And it takes time. So give yourself some grace and some love. Take that sovereignty back for yourself. That was my word for 2019, and it's showing up big as something I own in 2020. So I'm so happy for that for me. And just allow yourself to explore these 3 areas of control and how it's playing out in your life, so you can eliminate the control that is bogging you down like quicksand and icky mud, and create the positive type of control in your life that brings you sovereignty and freedom. I hope that this leaves you well. Please subscribe to our channel and share this with your friends and family. Make a comment, because I want to know who you are, and go and get your free gift at yourownuniversity.com. We have great masterclasses coming up, and I will talk to you soon.